A common question that comes up when people are in that home buying process, especially for first time home buyers, but not necessarily just first time home buyers, is where am I going to have the best assurance of appreciation on my home? And does that make a difference? Because isn't appreciation kind of all about the same? And the answer is absolutely not. Appreciation is not equal among all parts and all neighborhoods. And let me use a map to show this because this really helps. This is what I explain to clients. So let me show you. So I'm in Dallas. The majority of my clients are in Texas, and a huge portion of them are in the DFW area, but not necessarily. We have clients in Austin and San Antonio and Houston and all over. Well, here we have the Metroplex, Dallas, Fort Worth, and you can kind of see the color coding, the loops that are around the city. Well, the further out that one goes, okay, using my mouse here, the further out that someone goes to those outskirt areas, generally you'll see some situations with a little bit lower price point homes. That's where most new construction is for starter homes, things like that. Well, yes, you might be able to get a good home price, but here is what can be difficult. If you see in the near future, if there was a little bit of an economic recession, if there was a little bit of a real estate turn down, well, the areas that are on those outskirt areas are typically going to be the areas impacted the most. Whereas your areas that are more interior, closer to the jobs, closer to the various city services and all the various things that a city provides, whether that's not only work but restaurants and just all those other things, those are less likely to be impacted by value adjustments. Of course, it's neighborhood oriented. So it doesn't mean that it's bad to buy on the outskirts out here, okay? But you really have to play the long game there and be very, very sure you can play the long game because it's just obvious that generally people want to live where it's closer to their work. And not everybody, I have a client looking at homes over here in Lavon, and yeah, the price points there are new construction and pretty good. But for a lot of people, depending upon where they work, it might be 45 minutes to an hour to their work. So great. And as the Metroplex continues to expand, which I do believe it will, yes, that will become, there will be other jobs and things like that out there, but you just have to be aware of that risk. Okay. So there's a lot of different factors, but do be aware that those outskirt areas are more prone to kind of some market volatility, whereas your areas that are right in here, closer to a lot more jobs, price points might be higher. Maybe your square footage is a little bit lower for what you get, but because of that proximity to jobs and other resources, generally you're less likely to see market fluctuations there to a large degree.